Welcome to the Sweaty Pillow Podcast. Today we have a special guest, which will talk about one of the most important topics in our community, which is weight loss. We have Cindy Topel with a very impressive pedigree. Cindy is a certified menopause specialist, also has advanced certification in weight loss and mindset coaching. And Cindy founded the Menopause Path. So welcome, Cindy. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Yay. And this is post the day after U.S. Thanksgiving, and you look extraordinary. So I'd love to hear more about all of this. You look so good. And today is Black Friday. So, exciting times here. Anyways, let's get into it because weight loss, body image, why am I gaining weight as soon as I hit menopause? All those things are so topical in the Sweaty Pillow community and with menopausal women everywhere because it's kind of an anomaly. I've eaten the same way, I've done the same things, and boom, a punch in the face with all the other symptoms. And by the way, where's the 20 pounds? Like what the hell is going on? So tell us about your aha moment and what started you on your path to provide this great service.
Yeah, I'd love to. And yes, you're 100% right, Lara. I tell women I'm a menopause specialist and a weight loss coach, and I have their immediate attention usually. So there's just so many questions. We have so much knowledge about the adolescent part of our life. And if we ever had a child, there's lots of sources to help us with medical questions, lifestyle questions, culture questions. You get into menopause, which is almost 50% of your life. And it's this just black hole. And we don't talk to our governments, and our moms weren't taught either. And our doctors aren't educated. And it is a frustrating time. So it's so important to me to share the message that I have. And I'm so grateful to be able to be on your show and maybe educate a few people and they leave knowing something they didn't know before they were on the show. And I think it was finding the solution to my own weight loss and my own 2-year struggles with menopause symptoms that led me to get certified in both weight loss and as a menopause specialist and kind of combine those two and start the company. Because like many women, I had weight to lose before I entered menopause. I struggled with weight my whole life. I think I was, 12 or 13 before I tried my first diet, or when I tried my first diet. And then it was this never ending parade of the latest fad, the thing that would finally solve my weight. And all of them worked. I mean, I was 5 times at Weight Watchers. All my weight, lost all my weight. And I could just never find the program that helped me kind of with my emotional eating. My afternoon snacking, my needing something sweet, just those pieces of the puzzle were always missing from other weight loss programs. And I couldn't find anything I could bear to be on for life because I just really didn't want to count, measure, weigh anything. And then you start throwing menopause in the mix and wow, everything gets harder,
Yeah.
You not only are struggling with more weight, and there's 2 types of weight we have to lose, and we can get into that in a moment, but you're struggling with how much easier it is to gain weight and how much harder it is to lose weight, and you're not sleeping, and your joints are achy, and you're having all these hot flashes and night sweats, and you're never sleeping through the evening, and everything gets harder in menopause. So when I found something that helped with that kind of emotional behavior side of my weight, I lost 27 pounds and I've kept it off for 2.5 years. And I can honestly say, and I hope it doesn't sound terrible, but I really feel confident I can keep the weight off because I don't feel like I'm on a diet. But that didn't help with my menopause struggles. And it didn't help with the weight that was on my stomach that would not go away. That stomach weight that we all hate, that menopause belly, didn't help with my sleep, didn't help with all the other things. So I started, and my clients were in the same boat. Everybody was struggling. They were either peri or postmenopausal. So I started reading books, researching, going on PubMed, And I finally became a certified menopause specialist. And it was really combining those elements together that was the secret sauce to help women not only lose weight in menopause, but also to help lower a lot of the symptoms that are caused, that come about when you're in menopause, peri or post menopause. So, and now that I've figured that out, it's truly my mission to help other women understand it as well.
Cracking the code is so important because let's say on record, there's 129 different menopause symptoms. We're already aging. Like, what's with the bags under my eyes? I'm not sleeping. I'm annoyed. Like my road rage is out of control. But so let's say we're all strong and we can manage a lot of those things, work pressures, kids, aging parents. But if you get women in a room, maybe a couple glasses of wine, the biggest complaint is if I could, it's these 20 extra pounds that piss me off more than anything.
Yeah.
And then it's like, do I just give up? Like, is this my life now? And that adds to the mental health struggles that are so prevalent in menopause in general anyways, never mind life stressors. But tell us about this code that you've cracked, because if we could help women with your formula, the pressure that would alleviate, and we would just feel better about ourselves because we're not like squeezing ourselves like sausages into our jeans anymore.
I couldn't agree more. It is like the perfect storm, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're at this place in our life where we have more stress, more responsibilities. We're probably more successful than we ever were. But then you throw this unknown in there, which is menopause. And at this stage in our life, we're used to figuring things out. We're used to seeing ourselves solve so many issues. And we can't figure this out because we don't understand it. So I think half the battle in weight loss and menopause is simply understanding why is it so easy to gain at this time of your life? Because then you would understand, well, what can I do then to help myself lose? Because we take it upon ourselves as something we've done. We're trying to lose weight the way we always did, right? We're working out more, we're cutting calories, we're skipping meals, we're doing some of the things, and it doesn't work in menopause, or it doesn't work as simply as it did before, and we don't know why. So I always think it is so much, I think it's so eye-opening and so much more helpful for women to understand what those 5 root causes are that cause us to lose weight in the first place. So I can go through them. The first is really, we have a rapid loss of muscle that we get in menopause. It happens in our late 30s. It's called sarcopenia. We lose the most amount of muscle mass in our late 30s, but we continue to lose muscle mass every year from that point out. So kind of late 30s, early 40s is the beginning of the first of the 3 phases of menopause, perimenopause. We lose a ton of muscle mass there, but you're in menopause for the rest of your life because those hormones never come back. So you will continue to lose muscle mass if you don't do anything to counter that. If you lose muscle mass, your metabolism is slowing because muscle is your biggest determiner of how many calories you can eat without gaining, the amount of muscle that you have. It's also your biggest glucose burner. And so if you are losing muscle and your metabolism is slowing, yes, absolutely. You are eating the exact same thing and you are gaining weight. One of the reasons. The next is that your gut health changes immensely. And when I say gut, I would love your listeners to think your large intestine. So when I say gut, think your large intestine. And your gut health dramatically impacts your weight in a number of ways. So if we think of 3 things that our gut does for us, 3 big things that contribute to weight. The first is it helps us in digestion, absorption, synthesis of nutrition and food. And when we get to be about 45 years old, there's a dramatic change in that whole microbiome that is our gut. So you might have heard that term before, right? There's thousands of microorganisms that live in your gut, in your large intestine. And there's a diversity of fungi and bacteria. Around the age of 45, the diversity level and the amount of that bacteria dramatically declines. And so if you or anyone you know ever said, I used to be able to eat dairy and I can't eat it anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I just don't do gluten. You've heard this, right? I
Yeah.
don't do it anymore.
Yeah. And lived it.
Yeah. It's because of the change in your microbiome.
Hmm.
So you lose your ability to digest and absorb food changes a lot. That's one of 3 big things your gut does for you. The second is it's your waist highway, right? It's your colon. It's your waist highway. So we have a lot of elimination issues in menopause due to the loss of estrogen. But the third thing it does surprises a lot of women when I tell them, and that is a lot of your hormones are made in your gut. So think of melatonin.
Yeah.
So some is made in your pineal gland, but the vast majority of your melatonin, which is your hormone that helps you sleep, is made in your gut. And if we are not sleeping well, everything else falls apart. We get more hormones that make us hungrier, give us more cravings to help keep us awake. The other hormone that is made there is serotonin, a large proportion, almost like 90% of your serotonin, which is a feel-good hormone that helps you feel motivated. It helps you feel like, helps you with your sense of well-being, is made in your gut. And then 2 hormones that really impact weight. And one is ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, and the other is peptide YY. And so PYY, and that is your appetite hormone. So if you are not feeding that little microbiome what it needs to eat, and we can talk about that in a moment, everything kind of goes haywire with all of those hormones. So now you're losing muscle mass and your metabolism slowing. That was the first thing. The second thing is your gut health has changed a lot. The third cause of weight, and these gut changes cause a lot of inflammation. And inflammation in your body is what causes a lot of that weight gain around your midsection, that visceral fat that grows around your belly that we all hate. And if your listeners are doing other things, I would love them to just come back for a moment, because it's so important to understand that this weight that you're gaining, this visceral fat around your stomach, has absolutely nothing to do with the amount of calories you are or are not eating. Nothing to do with the exercise you're doing. So we'll get to that a little bit more on that in a minute. It's all caused by inflammation. So the next thing that's happening, the third thing, is that your insulin levels are going up. When estrogen goes down in your body, you have estrogen receptors in every cell in your body. And without estrogen, they don't respond as well to the hormone insulin. And insulin's job is to open up every one of those little cells and pop glucose in there. And that's what every cell needs to eat. But they are not as receptive to that insulin hormone without estrogen. And so your body goes, whoa, what's happening? I've got all this glucose in the bloodstream. I got to fix that. I better make more insulin. So now you've got all this excess insulin, all this excess glucose kind of floating around your bloodstream, and it gets stored as fat.
God damn it.
I know it. It's almost impossible to lose weight if you can't lower your insulin levels. And so the fourth thing that happens then is we also have a rise in cortisol. So cortisol naturally rises in our body as we age, but estrogen kind of dampened it a little bit. So with estrogen gone, cortisol rises. And cortisol is a good hormone. We need it in our body. It's the fight or flight hormone, but it's also the stress hormone. And we do not handle stress. We're not as resilient to it when we are in peri and postmenopause. And what do we do a lot of times when we have more stress? We eat.
Eat.
A lot of us
Hello,
eat.
comfort. Yeah.
Or
drink wine.
Or both together. But the other thing it is, which is so important, is that it is the other half of the sleep-wake cycle, the circadian rhythm. So that melatonin we just talked about in your gut that helps you go to sleep is a little off. And then you've got too much cortisol in your body. So if you're waking up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, which a lot of women do, that is our friend cortisol. You likely have too much cortisol in your body. And it also causes some inflammation. which let's go back to the belly fat. So it is a
Mm-hmm,
contributor.
mm-hmm.
So that's the fifth thing. The fifth thing that leads to weight gain is inflammation. So you've got, it's not those calories like I was just talking about, is nothing
Right.
to do
Yeah.
with calories. So you cannot cut your calories or do more sit-ups and get rid of that belly punch.
Yeah.
That's caused by too much, well, a reduction in estrogen, too much insulin, more cortisol than your body needs, and your gut health changes, and the nutrition that you are or are not eating.
Mm.
So it's not calories as much as it is some of the hormonal changes that are happening in your body. And when I tell women this, Lara, there's like almost this audible sigh, like, okay, a lot of this is out of my, like, I didn't cause this. A lot
Yeah.
of this is out of my
Yeah.
control, right?
Yeah.
However, if you know what's happening, you can
Mm-hmm.
fix it. You can work on it. So that always leads then to, well, then what do I do? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So in the menopause path, I have an online course that's coming out, and I go in detail on this. And as I do with my clients when I do one-on-one coaching, but we kind of walk people through a couple things. First, if you had weight to lose beforehand, tackling that piece that's missing in a lot of diet programs, which is the behavioral eating, the emotional eating.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I eating when I'm not hungry? Why am I
Yeah.
eating so fast? Or
Mm-hmm.
blasted eating, as I call it. So think of it as like an acronym: eating when
Mm-hmm.
I'm bored, lonely, anxious, stressed, tired, emotional, distracted, blasted. A lot of that
Oh, that's
eating is
good.
when you're not
Yeah.
hungry. It's good to remember, right? Like when you're
Yeah.
thinking, I'm going to go grab something. Well, am I actually hungry or am I blasted? It's just kind of a
Mm.
trick to help you
That
remember.
needs to be a t-shirt. Oh my God.
I like that idea. So I help women with that piece, but also getting to the root cause of why the menopause is impacting us so much is what we do. So we
Mm-hmm.
kind of swap cardio for weightlifting because we have to put muscle on your body. And the fastest
Mm-hmm.
way to do that to increase your metabolism so you can actually eat a normal amount of food is lifting weights. Twice a
Mm-hmm.
week, 30 minutes. That will get you
Mm-hmm.
started. And you really don't need to do a ton more than that. Or walking. What we need to do is not do as much cardio because
Okay.
your body perceives excess cardio. Cardio is good for you, but excess cardio, too hard of cardio, your body perceives it as stress. And what do we
Mm-hmm.
know now? That that's too much
Yeah.
cortisol. So I
Yeah.
really prefer people walk and then twice a week lift weights for 30 minutes. So that is the first thing. Second, we really need to work on lowering your cortisol. So working on a sleep routine and work on lowering your stress. Walking, playing with your dog, taking time out in your day just to lower your stress levels is just healthy for you besides making you feel better, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The third thing, we have got to help your body with that insulin reaction that it's happening. A lot of women, a lot of Americans in general, but a lot of women have insulin resistance, which I just described to you, that cells not responding, right? And so you want to lower the amount of added sugars that you're eating every day to between
Mm-hmm.
25 and 28 grams. And I mean
Okay.
added sugar, not fruit. People are like, whoa,
Okay.
no bananas. No, don't worry about fruit because it has so much fiber in it. But you
Mm-hmm.
want to lower the amount of added sugars that you're eating. And then the big thing is the nutrition that you're eating. So
Mm-hmm.
you need to add protein. And I know that's like the mantra that you hear all over Instagram,
Yeah.
social now, right? Eat protein like it's your job practically. But because of what is happening in your gut, you are not absorbing, digesting, synthesizing protein or anything as well as you used to. You just don't have the
Mm-hmm.
microbiome. So you have to eat more protein to accommodate that. And
Mm-hmm.
so 80 to 100 grams of protein a day is what I recommend for women. And try not to protein load at the end of the day. So
Okay.
instead
Okay.
of, because a lot of women will eat a little bit for breakfast and a little bit more for lunch, and we have a big chunk of protein for supper. But if you can balance out your protein intake throughout the day, you will
Mm-hmm.
feel dramatically different. Like it gets rid of a lot of the mental noise around food even. You have a
Yeah.
different satiated feeling in your body if you get enough protein. And I call these the big three. Protein's the first, and then the next two are things that feed that gut microbiome. And that's fiber and fermented foods. In other words, prebiotics and probiotics, because that's what that microflora eats. It needs prebiotics and probiotics to be healthy. And it's 25 grams of fiber a day. And think things like berries, pears, walnuts, avocado, guacamole, vegetables. Try to get your protein, your fiber, and your fermented foods in food because your body absorbs and breaks that down much better than it does a supplement. And then a fermented food, like if you have yogurt a day, you're good. You need one to two fermented foods a day. So yogurt, pickles, sauerkraut, kimchi. Can't stomach any of those and you think I'm never going to eat those every day, get a quality probiotic and talk to your doctor about what you recommend, what they would recommend, but make sure you're getting protein, fiber, fermented foods, the big three. And then the fifth thing to kind of help with, the emotional eating and just how do you not have to count every calorie, macro point, whatever, is I tell people to eat to 80. So meaning eat to 80% of full. We tell slight hunger before you eat and then stop at like 80% where you could eat more. You could eat another bite or two. You could finish that, but you're good. Like if I had to get up and answer the door and talk to somebody at the door for a while, I wouldn't be hungry anymore. I would be okay. Could eat more, but eat. And so those are kind of the 5 ways that we tackle that in my business on how to lose that weight.
So I'm silently freaking out because something that it's like in a hopeful way. What we want to deliver in these podcasts is understanding the why this happens and then offering solutions. We've had other experts talking about the connection of menopause and why you gain weight, but you broke it down so well, so easy to understand. But one thing that popped out was the gut health. I didn't understand all this time the value of making sure that your gut health is as healthy as it can be in the microbiome and how that directly impacts weight gain. And you said something else I picked up on because it registers with me, and literally every menopausal woman, girlfriend of mine, when we get together, it's like, well, and I'm sorry, this is too much information, but someone will say, well, I haven't gone to the bathroom number 2 in 4 days. And then Jennifer will say it's been 5 days and we're like suicidal and we're in pain. So just the how things are moving through our body, it's not efficient anymore. Is that because of the gut health?
It is. And it's also because it's that. And also in menopause, again, our friend estrogen is so important to us. It impacts all 49 hormones in our body and every cell and every health system in our body. You don't have the same sensation of thirst as you did. So you cannot wait until you're thirsty to drink. You need to drink a minimum, the RDA, I'm not going to die, is 64 ounces a day, right?
Okay.
I would love you to drink closer to 90 or 100 ounces of water a day. And you cannot wait till you're thirsty. And it doesn't have to be all water there. I mean, it could be seltzer, it could be, a juice, it could be any, tea, any non-caffeinated drink counts towards that water goal. But you don't want to wait until you sense thirst because it's too late. A lot of us walk around in a slight state of dehydration all the time. And if your body doesn't get the hydration it needs, guess what this amazing survival machine will do? It'll send you hunger cravings, hunger sensations.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And because it's like, well, if you're not going to give me water, I'm going to make you hungry. And then it extracts the water from the food that we eat because it's your body's biggest survival. It's the most amazing survival mechanism out there. So that is part of our GI issue too. We're not getting enough fiber by a landslide. We're getting way too much sugar, and we're not drinking enough water Because if we're not getting that fiber and we're not getting those fermented foods to feed that gut flora, that lack of estrogen impacts so many organs. But one thing it really impacts is the lining around that gut. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're not feeding that microflora what it needs to eat, it will eat kind of the museum that eat the layer around it a little bit, and it'll become
Yeah.
slightly permeable. And some of the gunk, the waste in the waste highway, right? One of the three things
Mm-hmm.
the gut does for you. Some of the waste and the toxins can seep into your abdomen, and that's leaky gut. A lot of us have heard of
Oh,
leaky gut.
yeah,
And leaky
yeah.
gut causes inflammation. And not only is that inflammation a cause of all that menopause belly weight gain,
Mm-hmm.
inflammation causes symptoms like achy joints, muscle
Mm-hmm.
soreness, hot flashes, night sweats, right? A lot of the vasomotor symptoms are made worse by inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
menopause causes a lot of the symptoms, but it's really
Yeah.
too much inflammation, too much cortisol, too much insulin, lack of sleep that is making all those symptoms worse. So it helps sort of demystify, I think, Lara, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
that's a
Yeah.
magical pill or snake oil or drug or thing that I have to do to feel better.
Yeah.
There are a lot of like really simple organic things you can do and eat to feel better and to help yourself release weight and reduce or eliminate your symptoms, because not everybody can or wants to be on hormone replacement therapy. I can't be on
Right.
it. So I had to like
Mm.
sort of figure all this out. But you can
Mm.
I have virtually no hot flashes now, a few a day, maybe. I used to have like
Mhm.
15 or 18 a day. So I sleep through the night. I could, before I figured it out, I went 2 years. I don't think I slept through the night once. It's like having a toddler again.
Jeez.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it really helped synthesize for me the importance of gut health and inflammation on this journey. Whereas we're a bit exposed to eat protein, switch to lift weights. I mean, those things we're a bit more aware of, but I was not. And, we're doing a podcast, so I feel like I should have been educated. You've really connected the dots on that front, which gives me, therefore, our audience so much hope, right? You've got the recipe. So tell us about, if you were to build, just what is the optimum wake up at whatever and eat and drink? Like build us just a day in the life of how the optimum eating and drinking could look.
It's going to depend on each woman, but
Yeah.
if I were to build the perfect day, you would wake up refreshed.
Mm-hmm.
And
No doubt. Yeah.
lovely. We could just pause right there for a moment, right? But you would start your day, and what I teach folks to do is, I think when especially when we have weight we want to lose, we have our weight goals and dreams the strongest for us in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And that 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock version of you, less so, right? We're tired.
Nailed it. Yeah.
That girl's tired. That girl
Whatever.
a glass of wine and order Uber Eats, right? So you
Yeah.
need to use the part of you that's strong, that has your weight loss goals and dreams, the highest, which is your morning self. Take care of that tired version of you. You got to make things as easy as possible for that girl in the future. So in the morning, think, okay, what are the things that I'm going to eat today that are higher in protein that are going to help me feel good all day long? And like figure out what you're going to eat for the day in the morning. Thaw out some food. Figure out, like, can I take 15 minutes at lunchtime or when I take a break and chop food up and throw it in a baggie or a bowl and throw it in the fridge? Because that 6 o'clock Lara, who's tired and doesn't care anymore, is a much better chance.
Yeah.
Throwing that stuff in the
Good one.
oven and serving a healthy meal if it's already all chopped up for her. So you want to like, can I use morning me, who's feeling really strong, doesn't have the decision fatigue, isn't tired from my whole day of everybody needing something from me? Can she take care of my food choices by making them in the morning and figuring out, how do I get in my protein for the day? The big three. How do I get my protein for the day? How do I get some fiber? What are 3 things that I like that I can sneak in there and get my 25 grams of fiber? Like, can I hide 3 tablespoons of chia seeds in my day? Throw them in a smoothie, throw them in a salad, throw them in some soup, because that's 10 grams of fiber and 3 tablespoons of chia seeds. Can I put guacamole on my sandwich at lunch instead of cheese and get a little more fiber? Can I eat a pear in the afternoon and some walnuts instead of something else
Right.
to help fill me up and get some more fiber? So like I figured that, and then I try to figure out, how do you get a walk in most days? And it can be 30 minutes, and it can be 10 minutes 3 times, and that
Okay.
counts.
Yeah.
And then twice a week, could you figure out how to lift weights for 30 minutes? What would be your best time? And it's not hard things. It's just knowing what things make an impact, I think.
So great. And you've just identified these little unspoken things, if you will. Like, I feel so good about my day at 8 a.m. I'm going to kill it today.
Yep.
A couple of things go sideways. I'm a bit tired. I didn't eat enough protein early. So my hunger hormones and my appetite is off the rails by 6. I don't give a rat's ass about anything else other than ordering Vietnamese noodles.
You got it.
Because yeah, it's over. And then it's like, well, I blew the diet anyway. So where's the turtles for Christmas? Like, you've just identified these things that are so relatable. You're an incredible source of wisdom. So how do women find you? Tell us about your website. Tell us about your offering. I noticed there's a guide people can download. Like, tell us about all of that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I do want to shout it from the rooftops, because I struggled for 4 decades dieting and years, to help other women. It's just gratifying for me. You can go to themenopausepath.com.
Okay.
And one of the first things you see is a free guide you can download that kind of walks you through these 5 steps, like what's causing the weight gain and what can you do to start losing. And that's a free guide you can put in. And if you do that, you'll get an email from me also every week. And I try to share all kinds of little bits of wisdom about the journey for you. You can follow me on social also at Menopause Path. And I'm on either Instagram or Facebook, but I probably post the most on Instagram. And then I have a course coming out online, because I can't do one-on-one coaching with everybody.
Yeah.
But I do speak publicly a lot, and I've gotten a lot of requests for, is there some sort of, course I could take on this? So I'm creating an online course that'll be out. I think January 20th is the date I'm targeting right now. So if you get the free guide, you'll be one of the first to know when the course is coming out. And then you will also see it on my website shortly. I'll have a wait list for that. So.
Oh gosh. So we have a section on the Sweaty Pillow that we will have your information, because you have really resonated with me. And I'm the voice, and Lisa on my team, we talk about these struggles so openly. And it's like, well, what the hell are we supposed to do about it? You have just given us the recipe to figure this out and get after it. So we definitely want to have all of your things on our website and point women there, because as I said, this is a major pain point. You've synthesized it in a way that I finally understand holistically what's going on. I'm leaving here to go to the grocery store to buy avocados, walnuts, pickles, which I love. Like, why the hell wasn't I eating my body weight in pickles versus Vietnamese noodles? Like, this is so exciting, because when we can have a podcast that deconstructs the why, gives us the path, there is the hope. So Cindy, you have been an absolute fantastic guest. We need to have you back, and we will have all of your information on our website. And I've noted the January 20th, and so is the team. So we'll make sure in a future newsletter that we can alert everyone to your course, because that's super exciting.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that. I'm glad to help, because I think just knowing what's going on is half the battle. And everyone, when I tell them that, they're like, why didn't anybody tell me this before? So I'm happy to be the one to share it if it helps. So
amazing. Well, thank you for joining us today, Cindy, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you. Love to.